Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rukah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and bishops of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Salutations to the prophets and beloved brothers who continue to exhort the sheep. This epistle here, I want to bring out in this 1922 New Translation Edition Bible and touch on some prophetic verses to showcase in a different variant way of how this literature is exposed and tied into the prophetic events as proclaimed in the prophets particularly. And I just want to bring out some verses and to see how poetically they are written in this version in particularly. So as we approach the 15th day of this month, which is tonight, Monday into Tuesdays, it's supposedly to be a eclipse, a lunar eclipse, a full blood moon, and it's a sign in the sky that we are supposed to be very watchful of, as we can see the prophetic timeline continue to quicken forward. So, first verse I want to go into is Joel here, and reading in chapter 3, verses 1 on down. It says, "For in those days and at that time, when I restore the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, then I will gather all nations and bring them down into the judgment valley, where I shall assign them their doom for their treatment of my people and of Israel my heritage, because they scattered my people among the pagans and divided up my land. They cast lots for my people, bartering a boy to pay for a harlot and selling a girl for wine to drink. What did you mean by it, you, O Tyre, and Zidon, and all Philistia? Were you taking my part as you wreaked your vengeance, avenging me? I will avenge your actions swiftly and speedily on your own heads, for seizing my silver and gold and for bearing off my costly jewels to your temples. You sold the folk of Judah and Jerusalem as slaves to the Greeks, to remove them far, far from their own country. So now I stir them up from the lands where you sold them. I will avenge your action on your own heads by selling your sons and daughters into the hands of the Judeans, and they shall sell them as slaves to the Sabaeans, a remote nation. So the Eternal decrees." Yahweh. "Proclaim this to the nations. Let it be war. Rouse up your warriors. Muster your fighting men. March. Hammer your plowshares into swords, your pruning hooks into lances. Let your weaklings think them warriors. Let your cowards think them heroes. Let the nations rouse themselves and march to Judgment Valley. For I will sit in judgment there on all the nations round. In with the sickle. The harvest is ripe. Come, tread the winepress, tread it. It is full. The throes are overflowing with their wickedness. What a din of hordes! What a din! Within the valley of the verdict. For the eternal day is near, within the valley of verdict. Dark the sun and moon, and stars have ceased to shine, and the eternal thunder out of Zion, loudly from Jerusalem. Heaven and earth are shaking, but the Eternal is a refuge for his own folk, a stronghold for the sons of Israel. As I was going into this particular Bible and reading how poetically it proclaims judgment, is that much more beautiful, his word, when given in a variance like such. And I just wanted to bring that out as to where some of us might not be aware of this particular translation here, but it all lines up with prophecy. So next verse I'll grab is found in the book of Malachi. Malachi chapter 4, verses 1 to 4. It says, "For the day is coming, burning like an oven. Worldly men and evildoers shall be straw then. And the day to come, the Lord of hosts declares, shall set them all ablaze, leaving them neither root nor branch. But for you, my worshippers, the saving sun shall rise with healing in his rays, and you shall leap like calves freed from the pen, and crush down evil men like ashes underfoot. On the day when I take action, the Lord of hosts declares." The Most High Yahweh has declared this, right? And again, it's a different poetic literature being said here, but it all ties into the biblical timeline of events and the things to be watchful for as we see that day approaching. And particularly in this version, it amplifies that it's a very distinct people who he's talking to. It's straightforward and direct and very plain, right? So the third chapter I want to go into is found in Second Peter. Second Peter chapter 3. Where are we at? 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. Chapter 10 to 14. It says, "The day of the Lord, the day of Yahweh will come like a thief, when the heavens will vanish with crackling roar. The stars will be set ablaze and melt. The earth and all its works will disappear. Now, as all things are thus to be dissolved, what holy and pious men ought you to be in your behavior, you who expect and hasten the advent of the day of your power, which dissolves the heavens in fire and makes the stars ablaze and melt. It is new heavens and a new earth that we expect, and he has promised, and in them dwells righteousness." Again, we are hastening the day of our power to fulfill his promises and his will. So the redemption of his heritage will come forth and be brought back into our lands, Abaratazah, right? We pray that we are part of that hopeful number. The fourth book I would like to grab for you is the book of Jeremiah. You see, I'm using these little thingies here to help guide me in the chapter as to where I'm not that really strong on reading Roman numerals and all these things, and I don't want to go and bang this book up. It's pretty old. So Jeremiah chapter 51 verses 1 to 6. It says, "The Eternal declares," it's Yahweh, "the Eternal declares, I am stirring up destroyers against Babylon, against the dwellers in Chaldea. I am sending winnowers on Babylon to winnow her and leave her bare. Woe betide for everywhere on her day of doom." Right? Woe on her day of doom. "Let the archer bend his bow, let him stand up in his armor. Spare none of her soldiers, annihilate her army. Strike them down within Chaldea, stab her in her streets. For their land is full of guilt against his majesty of Israel," or Yasharallah, right? "But Israel and Judah are not bereft of their power. And Yahweh of hosts, fly from Babylon, every man of you, save your lives, share not her doom. 'Tis the hour of the Eternal's vengeance. He is rendering her due punishment. Right? So this is declaring that we are to be watchful as we see signs in the heavens and all these things spoken about, wars and rumors of war, to be very alert as we see these prophetic events lining up, and all these verses that were written aforetime for our understanding through the prophets, and now unto this age that we are to gather this wisdom and proclaim it unto those that have the ears to hear and eyes to see what is being said to them, so they may not receive of her judgments as well, to come out of iniquity, come out of sin, and to put on these righteous garments. The next verse I'd like to grab for you is found in Obadiah. Verses 15, and I'll read to 18. And this will conclude this epistle here. So Obadiah, verse 15 to 18, and it reads, As you did then, so it is done to you. Your deeds recoil on your own head. Yes, the day of the Eternal is at hand, with doom for all the nations. You, on my sacred hill, have drunk the cup, and so shall every nation drink it at my hand. Drink it and stagger and vanish. But your survivors shall hold Zion hill, and it shall be inviolate. The house of Jacob shall reign their heritage. For the house of Jacob shall be fire, and Joseph's house a flame, with Esau's house as straw to be kindled and consumed, till not a soul is left of Esau's house, by order of the eternal Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai. So I pray that this version of this Bible here, and through its poetic literature, shows you how direct his judgments will be proclaimed to the nations, and to the salvation ultimately of his heritage, the nation of Israel, the northern and southern kingdom. So I pray that was edifying. Until the next time, Shalom.